Hold the metal higher, old man.
When I
When I hand you the money,
cry for the camera.
cry for the camera.
I've
I've buried better men than you. Perfect.
Perfect.
Say that again when we're live. The red recording light blinked from beneath the half-open door
He
of
is
a black
pressing him.
production
Do we
van
intervene?
parked beside Chicago's Lower Wacker Drive. 28-year-old Chase Maddox stood beneath the cold concrete overpass, dressed in a cream designer coat, white sneakers worth more than most families paid in rent, and a gold watch positioned carefully outside his sleeve. Every detail of his appearance had been designed for the camera. To his 19 million followers, Chase was the king of kindness, an energetic young philanthropist who surprised struggling strangers with cash, cars, and life-changing opportunities. But with the main cameras turned off, his smile disappeared. "Where did you find this guy?" Chase asked, looking toward the homeless veteran sitting beside a concrete pillar. The man appeared to be in his early 60s. His thick gray beard had been allowed to grow unevenly, and his weathered olive-green military coat hung loosely from his broad shoulders. A faded duffel bag rested beside his boots. Around his neck was a tarnished military medal bearing the small engraved portrait of a young black soldier. "His name is Isaiah Cole," field producer Vanessa Reed replied. "Army veteran. He's been sleeping around here for 3 weeks." Chase glanced at Isaiah and lowered his voice. "He looks miserable enough. Tell him I'm giving him $10,000. We'll show $2,000 in the envelope." Vanessa stared at him. "You promised him the full amount." "I promised him a moment," Chase answered. "Exposure has value." He looked around the tunnel with open disgust. "Spray
show
some
the world
water
your
on his
story."
coat. It needs to look like he survived a freezing night. And get that ugly medal in the close-up. The military angle will make people emotional. Neither Chase nor his camera operator noticed the tiny lens hidden inside Vanessa's jacket button. The body camera recorded every word. Nor did they notice the gray surveillance van parked 50 yards away. Inside that van, 6 monitors displayed live feeds from hidden cameras positioned throughout the tunnel. Attorneys, security specialists, and media analysts watched silently. At the center of them sat the supposedly homeless Isaiah Cole, or, more accurately, another live image of him. The real Isaiah on screen looked cold, tired, and powerless. But inside the surveillance van, his identity file told a different story. Lieutenant Colonel Isaiah Cole, retired. Former military intelligence officer. Founder of Cole Strategic Ventures. Majority investor in more than 40 technology and media companies. Estimated net worth, $680 million. And, through a veteran-led holding company named Valor Bridge Partners, the silent owner of the agency that controlled Chase Maddox's brand, digital channels, sponsorship contracts, and production company. Isaiah had not become homeless. He had gone undercover. For 8 months, complaints had followed Chase's viral charity videos. A restaurant worker claimed Chase humiliated her before giving her a fake check. A disabled musician said Chase promised to buy him recording equipment, then took it back after filming. A homeless mother alleged that his team deliberately scattered her belongings to make her situation look worse. Each time, Chase's lawyers threatened the accusers into silence. Isaiah could have terminated him based on suspicion. Instead, he chose to discover the truth personally. When the camera finally rolled, Chase transformed. His face softened, his voice became warm. He approached Isaiah with an envelope held against his heart. "Sir," he said dramatically, "no American hero should ever be forgotten." Isaiah slowly raised his eyes. Chase placed a hand on his shoulder. "We see you. We honor you. Today, I'm giving you $10,000 and a fully paid apartment for 1 year." The crew applauded on command. Isaiah opened the envelope. Inside were $200 bills and several layers of blank paper. He stared at them before looking directly at Chase. "Is this what honor looks like to you?" Chase's smile tightened. "We can edit that part," he whispered through his teeth. Then, louder, he said, "Sometimes trauma makes it difficult for our veterans to accept kindness." He turned toward the camera and allowed one carefully timed tear to slide down his cheek. The video received 9 million views in 6 hours. Chase earned more than $70,000 in advertising revenue. A luxury watch company offered him a new sponsorship. His followers called him an angel. Isaiah received nothing except the $2,000 Chase's assistant demanded back once the cameras stopped. But Chase had made one mistake. He had touched the metal. As the crew packed up, he lifted it from Isaiah's chest and laughed. "Whose face is that supposed to be? Yours before life destroyed you?" Isaiah took the metal from his hand. "No," he said quietly. "That is Captain Marcus Cole. Your son? My younger brother." Chase shrugged. "Good. Dead family stories perform extremely well. We should use that in the follow-up." Vanessa turned away, hiding the anger in her eyes. Isaiah remained calm. Years in military intelligence had taught him that anger revealed too much. "Do you know what this metal means?" he asked. "It means the thumbnail will get clicks. It means someone gave his life so another person could go home." Chase smirked. "That's touching. Save it for the interview." Then he walked away. Inside the surveillance van, Isaiah removed the false beard and wiped the theatrical dirt from his face. His expression remained controlled, but his hands trembled as he held the metal. Marcus had died during an evacuation mission in Afghanistan. He had entered a burning vehicle 3 times to rescue wounded soldiers. The 4th time, the vehicle exploded. The medal had been presented to Isaiah because their parents were already dead. But Marcus's face had not been engraved on it merely for remembrance. His image was the emblem of Valor Bridge Partners, the company created using the life insurance payment and military benefits Isaiah had refused to spend on himself. Chase had mocked the face of the man whose sacrifice had indirectly funded his entire career. Back at Valor Bridge headquarters, attorney Rachel Monroe opened a thick black folder. Rachel was a composed 52-year-old woman with silver-framed glasses and a reputation for dismantling fraudulent corporations without ever raising her voice. "We found the contract trail," she told Isaiah. "Every channel, trademark, sponsorship account, and production asset operated by Chase is owned by Maddox Impact Media." "And Maddox Impact Media?" Isaiah asked. "Wholly controlled by Valor Bridge Partners." She turned another page. "His morality clause prohibits staged charitable acts, financial deception, harassment of vulnerable individuals, and behavior that damages the agency's public reputation. He violated every provision." Rachel slid termination papers across the table. "When these are served, he loses administrative access to his accounts. Sponsorship revenue will be frozen pending fraud investigations. His production equipment can be reclaimed because it was purchased through company funds." Isaiah looked through the glass wall at the Chicago skyline. "Will this hold in court?" Rachel almost smiled. "Mr. Cole, he signed the contract without reading it because he believed no one could control him." Isaiah nodded. "Then let him meet the people he thought were invisible." 3 days later, Vanessa called Chase with extraordinary news. A global media network wanted to feature him during the Hope for America charity gala at the Grand Ellison Hotel. The network had requested an exclusive live interview and would broadcast it across several platforms. Chase accepted before she finished speaking. He arrived at the gala in a midnight blue tuxedo, accompanied by photographers and security guards. The ballroom glittered beneath enormous crystal chandeliers. Wealthy donors sat at white-clothed tables decorated with silver roses. A 30-foot screen displayed Chase's face above the words "Compassion Without Limits." He moved through the room as though he owned it. "Tonight," he told Vanessa, "I announce the Maddox Veterans Village. We'll collect donations first and figure out the project later. There is no property, no construction plan, and no Veterans Board," she reminded him. "There doesn't need to be. People donate to emotion, not paperwork." At 8 o'clock, Chase stepped onto the stage as nearly 6 million viewers joined the stream. "My friends," he began, spreading his arms, "kindness is not content. Kindness is a responsibility." In the control room, Rachel gave one quiet instruction: "Take the broadcast." The giant screen went black. Chase turned, confused. Then the body camera footage began. "Spray some water on his coat. Tell him I'm giving him 10,000. We'll show 2,000. Dead family stories perform extremely well." The ballroom became painfully silent. Online comments moved faster than the stream could display them. "Liar. He staged everything. Return the donations." Chase rushed toward the control booth. "Turn it off." His microphone carried his voice to millions. The screen changed again. Former victims appeared one after another. Maria Torres, the restaurant worker Chase had called too poor to understand opportunity. Eli Brooks, the disabled musician whose promised equipment had been removed from his apartment minutes after filming. Danielle Price, the homeless mother whose children had watched Chase's crew throw their clothes onto a wet sidewalk for a dramatic shot. Then the ballroom doors opened. Isaiah Cole entered wearing a perfectly tailored charcoal suit. His beard had been trimmed, his shoulders were straight, and the medal rested against his chest. Chase stared at him. "You?" Isaiah walked onto the stage. "No American hero should ever be forgotten," he said, repeating Chase's rehearsed line. Nervous whispers spread across the room. Chase forced a laugh. "This is another surprise for the veteran. Everyone, please welcome. My name is Lieutenant Colonel Isaiah Cole, retired. I am the founder of Valor Bridge Partners." Rachel appeared beside the stage with two attorneys. Isaiah continued. "Valor Bridge owns the agency that represents you. It owns Maddox Impact Media. It owns the trademarks attached to your name, the cameras used to film your videos, and every company-controlled account through which you receive your revenue." The color disappeared from Chase's face. "You work for me?" Isaiah held his gaze. "No, Mr. Maddox. You worked for us." Rachel stepped onto the stage and handed Chase a document. "You are being terminated for material violation of your morality clause," she announced. "Your administrative access has been revoked. Creator funds controlled by the company are frozen pending audits and restitution claims." Chase pulled out his phone. He attempted to open his largest social media account. Access denied. He tried another. Account ownership updated. Behind him, the screen displayed the process in real time. Brand contract, suspended. Creator fund, frozen. Corporate credit card, deactivated. Production access, revoked. The audience gasped as Chase's digital empire disappeared line by line. "You can't do this," he shouted. "Those followers belong to me." Isaiah's voice remained calm. "Followers are human beings, not property. The people you humiliated are human beings too." Chase pointed toward the medal. "This is revenge because I insulted your brother." "No," Isaiah said. "This is accountability because you built wealth by turning suffering into entertainment." He removed the medal and held it beneath the stage lights. "This is Captain Marcus Cole. He died carrying 2 wounded soldiers away from an explosion. He did not ask if anyone was filming. He did not wait for applause. He saw people in danger, and he helped them." Isaiah looked directly into the broadcast camera. "Character is what remains when the camera is turned off. If your kindness disappears when nobody is watching, it was never kindness. It was a performance. If you believe dignity should matter more than viral views, take a second to like this video and subscribe. More importantly, stay until the end, because what happened next transformed humiliation into hope. Workers entered Chase's luxury studio the following morning. They collected company-owned cinema cameras, lighting rigs, editing computers, drones, microphones, and 3 production vans. Chase stood outside the building, shouting that everything was being stolen. Rachel handed him copies of the purchase records. "The company paid for it," she said. "The company is reclaiming it. The equipment was not sold. Isaiah donated it to a new media training program for veterans, homeless adults, and former victims of exploitative online content." Meanwhile, the interrupted gala stream remained live. The words "compassion without limits" disappeared from the screen. They were replaced by a new message: the Silent Partner Sanctuary, housing, healing, and work with dignity. Isaiah invited Danielle Price onto the stage. Months earlier, millions had laughed after Chase edited her reaction to make her appear ungrateful. Now she stood before the same audience in a simple burgundy dress, holding her daughter's hand. "He told the world I refused help," Danielle said. "The truth is, I refused to let him film my children crying for a second take." Isaiah offered her a position as resident family coordinator at the new sanctuary. Eli Brooks was hired to lead its recording studio. Maria Torres became manager of the Sanctuary Kitchen, where residents would receive free meals and culinary job training. Vanessa, who had risked her career to record the truth, was named director of ethical production. The audience watched as the Vanity Gala became a real fundraiser. Donations passed $1 million in 15 minutes. Then $3 million. Then $7 million. People were no longer donating to see a rich influencer rescue a helpless stranger. They were investing in human beings capable of rebuilding their own lives. Isaiah contributed the first $20 million from the liquidation of Chase's business assets and profits linked to the fraudulent videos. 6 months later, the Silent Partner Sanctuary opened in a restored brick complex on Chicago's South Side. Sunlight filled its wide entrance through tall glass windows. The building contained 60 furnished apartments, a trauma counseling center, a legal clinic, classrooms, a commercial kitchen, and a technology lab where veterans learned editing, cybersecurity, graphic design, and business management. There were no hidden cameras in the bedrooms or dining areas. No resident was required to share a painful story to qualify for help. Near the entrance hung a simple bronze plaque. Service does not require an audience. Isaiah walked through the sanctuary on opening day. He passed Maria directing young cooks in the kitchen and Eli teaching a veteran how to adjust the levels on a recording console. In the courtyard, Danielle's children played beneath a maple tree while their mother welcomed a newly arrived family. Vanessa approached Isaiah with a small camera. "Would you like to record a speech?" He considered the question. "Only if the residents want one." They voted yes. Isaiah stood before the community with Marcus's medal resting against his chest. "My brother used to say that a person's lowest moment should never become someone else's entertainment," he began. "This sanctuary exists because people who were treated like background characters reclaimed their own stories." He paused as emotion tightened his voice. "Being broken does not mean being worthless. Needing help does not make you weak. Sometimes strength is simply having the courage to believe that your worst chapter is not your final one." In the front row, a veteran lowered his head and wiped his eyes. Isaiah continued, "We cannot always undo the cruelty people have suffered, but kindness can restore what cruelty tried to steal. It can restore dignity. It can restore trust. Sometimes, it can restore a future." A reporter raised her hand. What happened to Chase Maddox? Chase had lost his sponsorships, his penthouse, and most of his fortune to settlements and restitution. His personal account still existed, but without an agency, production team, or manufactured miracles, his audience had collapsed. Isaiah did not smile at the news. "Accountability should correct behavior, not satisfy our hunger for revenge," he said. "Whether Mr. Maddox changes is now his decision." 1 year after the gala, a plain envelope arrived at the sanctuary. Inside was a cashier's check for $50,000 and a handwritten letter from Chase. There was no camera, no public announcement, no demand that the sanctuary mention his name. The note contained only 3 sentences. "I thought attention made me important. Losing it showed me how empty I had become. Please use this to help someone without telling them it came from me." Isaiah read the letter twice. Then he placed the check into the emergency housing fund. He did not call the newspapers. He did not post it online. For the first time in his career, Chase Maddox had done something good without asking anyone to watch. Isaiah walked to the sanctuary entrance, where Marcus's portrait had been placed beside the bronze plaque. Visitors who once thought the man on the medal was merely a storytelling prop now learned the truth. Captain Marcus Cole had rescued soldiers. His sacrifice had created Valor Bridge. Valor Bridge had funded Chase's career. And the collapse of that false career had built a sanctuary where thousands of people could begin again. The medal had never represented money, influence, or revenge. It represented the price of genuine service. Before you judge someone by their clothes, their home, their job, or the number beside their name online, remember this: you may see only one difficult page of a much greater story. Support creators who protect human dignity. Question generosity that requires humiliation. And when you help someone, do not ask how many people will see it. Ask whether the person in front of you will feel seen. Because real kindness does not need perfect lighting. Real service does not wait for applause. And the most meaningful miracles often happen after the cameras are turned off.